Have you ever accepted a job that paid so well, you stopped asking why? That was exactly what happened to Daniel Carter, a 32-year-old former Marine living in Ohio. After losing his construction job, Daniel found a listing online that seemed too good to be true. One night, one building, $1,000 in cash. The job: spend the night inside Blackwood Asylum. The old psychiatric hospital had been abandoned since 1987 after a mysterious fire claimed dozens of lives. Locals refused to go near it. They believed the patients had never really left. Daniel laughed when he heard the stories. "Ghosts don't pay bills," he told himself. At 8:45 p.m., he parked his truck outside the enormous brick building. Broken windows reflected the moonlight. Rusted wheelchairs sat abandoned near the entrance. The wind pushed open the front doors with a long, painful creak. Inside, everything smelled of dust, mold, and old medicine. The company that hired him gave only one instruction: walk through every floor once every hour. Simple enough. Daniel switched on his flashlight. The first floor was quiet. Rows of empty patient rooms, peeling wallpaper, old medical charts scattered across the floor. Nothing unusual. At exactly 10 p.m., he reached the children's psychiatric wing. The silence became almost unbearable. His footsteps echoed endlessly down the hallway. Then, he heard it, a child laughing. Just one laugh, soft, far away. Daniel stopped walking. The hallway became silent again. "It has to be a raccoon," he whispered. He continued forward. Halfway down the corridor, his flashlight flickered. For less than a second, he saw someone standing at the end of the hallway. A little girl, barefoot, wearing an old white hospital gown. Long black hair covered most of her face. When the light became steady again, she was gone. Daniel's heart raced. He searched every room, every closet, every bathroom. Nothing. Trying to calm himself, he checked his body camera. The hallway was empty. No little girl, no shadow, nothing. "Maybe I'm just tired," he muttered. At midnight, he entered the basement. This part of the hospital had no windows. The air felt strangely cold. His flashlight illuminated old boilers, broken pipes, and abandoned storage rooms. Then his radio suddenly came alive. Static filled the speaker. A woman's voice whispered, "Room 214. Daniel froze. "Who's there?" No answer. Again. "Room 214. The voice sounded closer this time. He looked at the map. Room 214 was back on the second floor. He decided to ignore it. As he turned to leave the basement, he heard tiny footsteps running behind him. Fast. Closer. Closer. He spun around with his flashlight. Nothing. The footsteps stopped. The silence returned. Then, his flashlight revealed fresh, wet footprints on the dusty floor. Small footprints, like those of a child. They weren't leading away from him. They were leading toward him. Daniel stared at the tiny wet footprints. They stopped only a few inches from his boots. But there was no child, no sound, no movement. His breathing became heavier. He forced himself to look up. The basement hallway was empty. Then every light above him shut off at once. Darkness swallowed the room. Only his flashlight remained. Its beam shook as his hands trembled. The radio crackled again. This time the voice sounded clearer. "Room 214. Daniel clenched his jaw. "I'm done listening to this." He hurried up the basement stairs. The second floor felt different now. The air was warmer, almost as if someone had been there moments before. Room numbers passed one by one. 208, 210, 212, finally a 214. The old wooden door was slightly open. Inside was a small patient room, a rusted metal bed, a cracked mirror. Children's drawings covered the walls. Every drawing showed the same little girl, standing alone, watching. On the back wall, someone had written a sentence over and over with black marker. "She only follows people who look back." Daniel felt a chill run down his spine. Without thinking, he slowly turned toward the hallway behind him. Empty. He sighed with relief. Then, a soft giggle came from inside the room, not behind him, right beside him. He snapped his flashlight toward the sound. The little girl stood in the corner, completely motionless. Her head tilted slightly, her pale face hidden beneath strands of black hair. Daniel blinked. She was gone. His flashlight suddenly died, for 3 terrifying seconds. He stood in complete darkness. When the light flickered back on, the room was empty again, but the mirror wasn't. The reflection showed Daniel standing alone. Behind him, the little girl smiled. Daniel spun around. Nothing. He looked back at the mirror. She was gone. His phone vibrated. No signal, no internet. Yet somehow, a new video had appeared in his gallery, recorded only seconds earlier. Confused, he pressed play. The video showed Daniel entering room 214, but he wasn't alone. Someone walked in behind him. A little girl. The camera clearly captured her. She stood only a few feet away the entire time. Daniel dropped the phone. His hands were shaking uncontrollably. Suddenly, every hospital speaker crackled to life. A calm female voice echoed through the building. "Patient 47 has escaped." The announcement repeated again and again and again. Then it changed. "Security, do not let patient 47 leave." Heavy footsteps echoed somewhere down the hallway. Not running, walking, slowly, deliberately. Daniel switched off his flashlight and hid inside the room. The footsteps grew louder, closer. Then they stopped outside room 214. A shadow appeared beneath the door. Someone, or something, was standing there. A slow knock echoed through the room. Knock, knock, knock. Daniel held his breath. The doorknob began to turn. The doorknob turned slowly. Once, twice. Then it stopped. Silence. Daniel didn't dare breathe. After what felt like an eternity, the footsteps moved away. One step, then another, until they disappeared into the darkness. Daniel waited several minutes before opening the door. The hallway was empty, but something had changed. Every patient room door was now wide open. Each room was dark, as if someone had opened them all at the exact same moment. His flashlight swept across the hallway. Nothing. Then he noticed an old nurse's station at the far end. Inside, dusty folders were scattered across the desk. One file caught his attention. Patient number 47. Daniel opened it. The first page showed a black and white photograph. His heart stopped. It wasn't the little girl. It was him. The same face. The same eyes. The file was dated 1987. Impossible. He had been born in 1994. His hands trembled as he turned the next page. The report read, "Patient 47 suffers from severe memory replacement syndrome. He repeatedly believes he is living another life outside the hospital." Daniel whispered, "This isn't real." Then another page fell onto the floor. It was a newspaper clipping. "Blackwood Asylum fire leaves one survivor." The survivor's name, Daniel Carter. He stumbled backward. No. This can't be happening. Suddenly, every hallway light came on at once. The loudspeaker echoed one final announcement. "Patient 47 has regained awareness." The walls around him began to change. The broken paint disappeared. The dust vanished. The abandoned hospital transformed into a clean, fully operating psychiatric ward. Doctors walked past without looking at him. Nurses pushed patients through the corridors. Everything looked alive, as if the last 40 years had never happened. Daniel looked down. His security uniform was gone. He was wearing a faded hospital gown. A plastic wristband circled his arm. It read, "Patient 47." Two nurses approached calmly. One smiled kindly. "It's time for your medication, Daniel." He tried to run. The exit doors wouldn't open. The windows had bars. Every hallway led back to the same room. Room 214. The little girl stood, waiting inside. She looked at him for the first time. Not with anger, not with hatred, but with sadness. She quietly whispered, "You never left." The lights went out. When the police arrived the next morning, they found Daniel's truck still parked outside Blackwood Asylum. His wallet, his flashlight, his body camera. Everything was there, except Daniel. Investigators reviewed the body camera footage. For nearly 8 hours, it showed Daniel walking through empty hallways, talking to someone no one else could see. At exactly 3:13 a.m., the recording ended. The final frame showed Daniel standing in room 214, facing the wall, smiling, standing beside a little girl in a white hospital gown. The police never solved the case. The building was sealed again, but local officers still refused to enter Blackwood Asylum after dark, because every night, at exactly 3:13 a.m., the old security cameras activate by themselves, and room 214 always contains two figures, a little girl and a security guard, still waiting for the next visitor.